Hello everyone. The question of how to learn to twiddle the racket is often asked. I mean how to twiddle it in your hand during the game, to play with different sides of the racket on the same side. This makes sense when your rubbers are different, for example, pips in rubber and long pips. And if you play with different rubbers on the same side, it will be harder for your opponents. Twiddling the racket is very simple. You just need to practice a little. Some players do it naturally. The simplest way to practice is to watch the videos from the TT Maximum channel and practice twiddling. At first, twiddling will not be very fast, but the speed will come with time. There's nothing difficult about it. Well, maybe there is something difficult after all. In the game, there are situations when your opponent has either served or played somehow, and at that moment you decide that you want to play with the other side of the racket. Then you twiddle the racket and play. So you need to think quickly, make a decision, twiddle the racket, and then play. And this is quite difficult because you have to do all this quickly. To master this technique, you will need to practice and use it during the game for some time. How is it done correctly? You make a sharp rotational movement with your wrist and move your finger away from the racket. There are no other methods or secrets in this technical move. All that's left is to repeat it many times and gain stability and speed. If your finger sometimes gets caught on the racket, that's normal. There's no need to get rid of the finger. Calmly practice the movement and don't think about which muscles are involved and at what age Ma Long started playing tennis. Someone may ask which way to twiddle the racket. Try twiddling in different directions and you will understand for yourself. You can twiddle only in one direction. Someone reported that they twiddle in the other direction, and that's why he sometimes dropped the racket. This is amazing. But we are not looking for complicated ways, especially when these paths are 5 times more difficult than the easy ones. A viewer wrote that the edges of the rubbers bend and peel off when twiddling. How can this be fixed? Rubbers can bend and peel off in different ways. It happens quickly for some, and the opposite for others. This is because the technique of twiddling the racket and the interaction of the finger with the racket are different for everyone. And the rubbers are also different. The first advice is to get used to this inconvenience and not pay attention to it. If you want to experiment, try sticking some strip on the side edge of the racket. Stick it, including on the side edge of the rubbers where the sponge is. Perhaps this will help keep the rubbers in place. If you have OX, when cutting the rubber, you can leave an additional piece of rubber beyond the blade to bend it and stick it to the side edge of the racket. You can try to apply something like Scotch tape. This does not guarantee a solution to the problem. It may work in your case, or it may not. It depends on your technique and your rubbers. A viewer wrote that the thorns under his finger cause discomfort. Can they be cut off? Yes, they can be cut off. They are not needed for playing. It might have been more convenient if they weren't there at all. However, you may not be able to cut the pips off completely. It means that there will be stubs left from the pips, and it will cause discomfort. And it may distract you, or maybe not. In general, keep in mind that you might not like the result either. There is a second option. Pay no attention and get used to it. That's what I done. I just got used to it, adapted, and the pips don't bother me. Another question was asked, how do players determine, without looking at the racket, which rubber is being used at any given moment? For example, the second rubber is antispin, it's also smooth. This is done by feel. It's easy to feel the difference between the pips and the pips in rubber. But there is also a difference between the pips in rubber and the antispin. Usually, the antispin is slippery, so when the finger is on the antispin, it feels slippery. And when the finger is on the pips in rubber, it feels like it sticks to it or catches on it. This is well felt. What types of handles are suitable for this and which are not? Choose the one that is comfortable for you. Any types of handles are suitable for this, except for a shovel handle. Some players think that only straight handles are suitable. No, any types of handles are suitable for this. You can even take an FL handle and wrap a grip in the middle with a special winding. This will create a bump in the middle of the handle. And you can spin this racket in your hand quite comfortably, no problem. The only thing to avoid is some particularly wide FL handles. Sometimes they have a very wide extension at the bottom. For example, the Stiga company has handles called Legends. They are inconvenient to spin. They can get stuck. This is the only thing I would recommend avoiding. FL handles with very wide bottom parts. And the last question. What blades are suitable for twiddling the racket in the hand and which are not suitable? All blades are suitable. From what I remember and know, there is only one exception, the Sword 309 blade. It is inconvenient to twiddle it, the finger catches on the blade of the racket. But we perform additional processing of this blade in our store. So you can buy the option that you like more. By the way, this blade is excellent in its category. On the left, you see the basic version that comes from the factory. On the right is our upgraded version. To sum up what has been said, twiddling the racket is easy. It is an intuitively understandable technical element. Just practice it and do not bother with additional questions about the meaning of life. If it doesn't work out right away, you need to practice a little. For example, when playing with friends for fun, start twiddling the racket frequently. Twiddle it after each hit. At the same time, you will learn to play with both sides of the racket, both on the forehand and backhand. Excellent, useful training. And there is no need to think that now I will move this finger back, move the other finger forward, then raise the left leg and jump on the right. While you are thinking about it, you will lose 5 points. It all happens automatically in one motion. If you are standing a meter from the table, you have more time and it is easier to make it in time. If you are standing in the far zone, it is even easier. Some players manage to make a decision and twiddle the racket during the serve return near the table. If you have any questions about rackets, aspects of tennis and life on Mars, ask in the comments under the video. We will try to answer. And if you need something from the table tennis inventory, contact us at the TT Maximum store. We are always happy to help you choose the right blade, rubbers, and everything else you need.